And in our top business story, UAE Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, attended the opening ceremony of the World Green Economy Summit. During the opening ceremony, the ruler of Dubai announced the opening of the World Green Economy Organization along with the administrator of United Nations Development Programme. Headquartered in Dubai, the new organization is expected to develop mechanisms and provide assistance in supporting the international community towards realizing the goals related to the Paris Agreement. Now in its second year, the two-day summit is expected to discuss the current opportunities of the sustainable energy industry, as well as the strategies required for the transition towards a greener economy. During his speech, Adnan Zamin, the Director General of International Renewable Energy Agency, stated that at current rates, the world will need 80% more energy by the year 2050, and the world needs to come together to increase resource efficiency while also reinforcing their strategies. Furthermore, he added that by doubling the share of renewables in the global energy mix to 36% by 2030, we can provide half of the CO2 emissions reductions required to meet the targets established in the Paris Agreement. According to the speakers, doubling the share of renewables in the global energy mix could increase global GDP in 2030 by $1.3 trillion.
We see it as a very important initiative to be identified with. We've already signed on to be an implementing partner of the new organisation, and UNDP's job is to spread best practice, best ideas, innovations, get things done and really move towards the world green economy. The global ambition is for it to be an international non-governmental organisation, you might say of a similar kind to ARENA on renewable energy, which is also headquartered in UAE. So it will, I understand, be attracting member states to join up to it and support the objectives. I'm very optimistic now about the Paris Agreement coming into force early. With India's ratification, we leapt towards it, and now we're here today. The European Parliament has, in essence, cleared the way for the European Commission to sign. So I think by the time we get to Marrakesh, with any luck, we will see the agreement actually in force, and that galvanises action.
In mature economies where demand is stable or declining, we're going to see a lot of renewable energy investment that's displacing current conventional energy. We're already seeing that in Europe and in the US. In emerging markets, we're going to see renewable energy as a technology of choice. Our assessment is that if we want to reach the doubling target and we want to be in a safe environment by 2050, we have to increase investment in renewables to about 900 billion a year by 2021 and maintain that until 2030 and beyond. We think that's eminently doable. We are now well over 300 billion in terms of investment. We are seeing that the renewable energy cost reduction is presenting an investment scenario for energy transition that is now very, very profitable, and we believe that there's a positive case.
The opening ceremony also witnessed a keynote address by international pop star Akon, who discussed the achievements of his solar-powered Lighting Africa project. Among the major achievements of his project include launching the first human and solar-powered football field in Lagos, as he now aims to provide off-grid clean energy to over 1 million homes in around 48 countries in Africa by 2020. While seeking an investment of over $100 billion, Akon stated that the lack of energy for 600 million people is stagnating the growth of a whole continent.
For years, we've always thought about that. We felt like Africa could be one of the moments and continents that learn from all the developing countries' mistakes. Of course, a lot of them built very, very fast. We're in a position now where technology is changing constantly and very, very quickly. And we have the opportunity to be able to take advantage of all the latest new technology that we can rebuild our continent with without dealing with the climate change issues. So I think it'd be very smart for us to take a look at all the technologies that's available and figure out what implements that we can use for Africa that benefits the African people. It's going to be pretty substantial for me. It's a pretty big number. Ultimately, it grows every day because every day you find new challenges as you move forward, but clearly it's going to be in no less than $100 billion.
The IMF has left its global economic forecasts unchanged into 2017, but called governments to take action against the threats of low growth and protectionism. According to the International Monetary Fund, which has left its growth estimates unchanged from July, global output is expected to grow this year at a rate of 3.1% before rising to 3.4% next year. The fund did, however, downgrade forecasts both for growth in global trade volume and for advanced economies output, stating that prospects for richer countries had darkened this year. The IMF notably cut its growth forecast for the world's largest economy, the United States, but upgraded those for Japan and the Eurozone. The IMF downgraded its outlook for advanced economies this year by 0.2 percentage points to 1.6%, but raised it slightly for emerging and developing economies to 4.2%. The world trade outlook also soured, with growth pegged at 2.3% this year, 0.4 percentage points lower than forecast in July, before rising to 3.8% in 2017. Growth of the UAE's non-oil private sector eased in September, with business conditions improving at the weakest pace since June. The sector's slowdown was largely reflective of a subdued expansion in new work, which grew at its lowest rate in over 6 years. According to the Emirates NBD UAE Purchasing Managers Index for September, job creation was also modest, although both output and purchasing rose sharply, suggesting that firms remain confident about the near-term outlook. On the price front, competitive pressures led to lower purchase costs and output charges, with the fall in the former ending a 17-month period of inflation. The headline Seasonally Adjusted Purchasing Managers Index is a composite indicator designed to give an accurate overview of operating conditions in the non-oil private sector economy, which slipped closer to the 50.0 no-change mark for the second month running in September. Down from 54.7 in August, the latest reading of 54.1 was still consistent with a solid improvement in business conditions. It was also broadly in line with the average so far this year at 53.8, although noticeably lower than 2014, which was at 58.1, and 2015 56.0 trends. Apartment prices in Abu Dhabi declined marginally by 0.5% during the third quarter of 2016, taking average annual falls to 3%. That's according to a new report. Cavendish Maxwell's report said apartment and villa rents declined by 1.8% and 2.4% on average, respectively, with 4- and 5-bedroom categories seeing the highest declines as job losses and oil prices have reduced demand for larger units. The report also said investment yields for villas in Al Raha Gardens and Al Reef areas continue to remain attractive, averaging between 6 to 7%. The report said approximately 724 units were completed in Q3, with an additional 5,000 units scheduled for Q4. The key locations for upcoming supply in Q4 are Abu Dhabi City, Al Reem Island and Al Raha Beach. In addition, more than 12,000 units are expected to be added to investment zones between 2017 and 2018, of which nearly 80% will be apartments.